Shirt Wednesday?
Work shirt Wednesday. I got to do it. So.
See what happened last night? Tornado hit through Falls. Check in on everybody.
Brad, I'm curious. You guys are a different team this year, and so is Arizona State. So when you watch the film of them, what stands out? I know you weren't coordinators, so you were looking at other things, but what stands out differently about them?
Well, you feel they're still the same structure-wise, but very active, very productive on defense, and obviously we got a big task ahead of us. They have not allowed a point in the first three quarters, so it's a big week for us.
What makes that 3-3-5 a challenge, and how much different is theirs than Tulsa's?
There are similarities in both. A lot of times you don't know where guys are going to end up until the ball is snapped. It is a form of an aggressive style defense that allows guys to play and react to the football.
How much did having that experience against it in game one help for this week in terms of just technology or terminology and knowledge of what to do?
There's always a benefit when you go against a front that you don't see in practice. We're a four-man front, so you see that through spring football, fall camp, and then all of a sudden you jump into the dynamics of Tulsa. We're going to see it through the year, but one game of experience helps us.
Have you ever seen in all your career of coaching an offensive line from one game to another take such a I mean, it was almost completely different. If you would put I did put the film on it, didn't even look like the same offensive line.
They responded, and it was a great week. And you do, everybody, it's coach talk that you want to see the most improvement from week one to week two, but it was drastic. It was drastic, and guys played very well, played hard, competed, and played with toughness.
Do you think it was guys winning matchups, or do you think it was more zone run calls, stuff like that? What do you attribute the difference to for the line?
Generally, it's a guy physically winning a matchup, and that's what they did on Saturday.
Do you want to be more zone? Do you want to be more man, or do you want to kind of blend it all together and keep everybody off balance?
You want to do what you make yards on, and you do have to, scheme-wise, be both a gap and zone scheme. It just depends formationally how you're going to do it. What fronts can you create by whether it's motions or, doing a little bit of the no-huddle things that fit us.
After that week, do you feel like you're closer to getting a set 5 up there, or do you think that'll still sort of be a rotational thing moving forward for a little bit?
Hey, continue to rotate guys through, and it's great to get some of the younger guys in at the end of the game, but you hope to establish the solid 5 and keep your team healthy, but those are some things you can't control.
What did you see from Jordan in particular that you guys are running over his side so much? I mean, he seemed like he had you talk about the whole line, but he seemed like he had a dramatic jump from week one to week 2.
You look at Jordan's offseason, and just his strength and weight gains have really helped him at that tackle position. It's starting, obviously, to benefit him now.
Brian said he thought maybe he was just naturally pressing a little bit playing at Arizona State. I mean, probably hard to go back and think about that now, but, I guess, what do you see in him in his progression from week 1 to week 2, even though he played well in week 1, and the challenge of, just naturally beating your hometown team and kind of just a little extra pressure there?
I saw that in his eyes last year, and I remember having the conversation with Brian as we were kind of going into that week, and that's a big week, and I think it was scheduled when maybe he committed to us, so it was on the radar, and maybe pressed a little bit too much or just put too much pressure on himself to do it himself. But his progress has been, daily and weekly through fall camp and the season. He'll be ready to play on Saturday.
With Naylor being out a little bit, you guys moved Darryl inside and got CJ more reps on the out. Could you sort of run down your thinking there in terms of moving Darryl to that spot as opposed to maybe Larice there and keeping Darryl, or just the shuffle that occurred after Naylor's injury, how they sort of played out in your guys' mind?
Darryl's been the starting slot, so it's actually sort of moved him out, some, which is what it did for us. But CJ got his opportunity, rose up, and that's your hope as you develop the guys that are behind, and when their opportunity comes, it's their time to shine.
What's the future for guys like Jefferson and Hayward right now in terms of you've seen that they can be explosive weapons, and you got to find ways to do them if Eli's going to be the guy in the back?
That's the one thing in trying to manage the backfield. If there is a lead guy that becomes a lead guy, obviously Elijah had a great game, and those two, Ladarius and Connor, have multiple game experience, and so that benefits us in the long run.
I know.
So you try to find what fits them, whether it's different situational packages that fit their skill set.
I know that there have been talk when they both got on campus, maybe they end up linebackers, but have you seen enough from them in explosive plays that they've had that, they're offensive weapons for us?
Yeah, they're running backs.
I know that I'm sure Coach D likes to keep it as even as possible, but do you sense that the players from this week compared to last week that it's a lot more loose and everything feels a lot better? Or is that just more for people on the outside thinking about the program, fans and whatnot?
As far as practice?
Yeah, just is there a better atmosphere this week given that you had the impressive game on Saturday?
Well, there always is when you win, and there's a confidence I think that comes from as players, as offense and defense. I feel your players need to have evidence of that, and so Saturday is very much a positive experience, and it's a reflection of what they've put into it, things that you're hoping would come together, and you really never know until Saturday becomes revealed, and so it's a very good performance by them, and you hope this momentum or just confidence can continue to build and feed off each other.
How much does that carry over to the coaching staff? Mark was obviously in a lot better mood yesterday than he was last Tuesday. I mean, just you guys, and like you said, the players have more confidence. I assume you believed in your product week one and continue to believe in it, and it obviously showed last week.
You're measured weekly, so this is the profession you live and you choose, and you literally live and die based on what happens on Saturday. There's some things that could have happened here, and let's say whatever game, and they don't, well, then your week is sort of ruined, in a sense. You got to be able to respond to it, but it's much easier to come to work and work through that process when you have success on the field. That's the goal.
Sleep a little better Saturday night.
A little bit. Yeah.
Can you kind of explain the evolution from the fullback to the H-back that you guys are using again? You kind of brought it back from a couple years back.
It is college football. It's even NFL football now. Is there truly just a fullback in the I formation position? You need to find skill sets, I think, that can challenge defense, which is what people are looking for, that 250-pound body that can be lined up in multiple positions, be able to run routes, be able to block in space. And so it's more just the evolution of football, of just sort of creating different things formationally that you really just don't have a fullback right behind the quarterback.
Does it help that you guys have had experience with that in the past? Like guys like I think Kleiker maybe did it.
You've always thought the tight end is a hybrid position, probably one of the hardest to play, from a knowledge aspect of run and pass, from a physical aspect of same thing, run and pass game. And so you hope to find those guys. They're hard to find in high school. There's not, usually if a guy's a pretty good athlete and is a tight end, he's split out at receiver but weighs 215, 220, and what can you project him to be a possible tight end in college?
How do you think the tight ends have played through 2 weeks here? And then all that's
Very well. So you're looking at the performance of those guys on the edge blocking, playmaking ability with the balls in their, in their hand, and opportunities to catch or in space, different things we're doing off the edge. Good to see Trent Gillison get some reps and start showing up too. He's a guy that'll continue to grow through the process.
Do you feel like the wide receiver blocking was better between week 1 and week 2?
A lot of that is just sort of the structure of what's happened in the last year, and just our opportunity to do that. We knew it was going to be a focal point, so the practice of it, our challenge of blocking our defense out in the perimeter, and it's just another way of how do you get the ball to a person, different. We're trying to get different people. I think we've had maybe 8 guys catch a ball the last 2 games, and so it's just getting the ball in different spots.
Brad, what type of challenge does that veteran secondary corners that Arizona State have present to you guys?
Very talented. You look at them, and we went against them last year, so you have a feel how they match up to our guys, but I think it's a special secondary. They can run. Very good coverage skills, good nose for the ball, good comfort level of what they're trying to accomplish on the back end.
In that 3-3-5, you guys aren't obviously in the first game able to go downfield much because of a lot of the scheme stuff and how many guys they drop. But do you feel like you guys can go downfield against this?
Need to find those opportunities, whether it's formations or one-on-one matchups. They're a little bit different structurally on the back end, but physically, very talented group. That's the challenge.
I was surprised looking back that it had been almost a year since Brian completed a pass over 33 yards. And, you're starting to see a lot more of the arm strength, I would imagine, from a couple years ago.
And that's where he's put on strength and weight gain, really through the offseason. Once he got healed up, he got back to where he was.
You guys good with Coach? That's one.
I was just going to ask, how has Eli kind of responded to his sort of, moment at the spotlight in the past few days?
He's a very humble kid, so I don't think it's changed him. I think he's probably more excited about playing and the opportunity to play.
Thanks, Brad.